Today I want to talk to you about the quality enthusiasm. Have you noticed that there are two different types of people in the world? Two different types. The first, there are those who let circumstances influence their enthusiasm. And the second, there are those who use their enthusiasm to influence their circumstances. There's two types of people in the world today. Those who let what's going on around them determine their mood, their posture, their perspective, or those who let what's going on inside of them influence the climate around them. The theme enthusiasm is one of my favorite positive themes. I want to talk to you about it today. It comes from two words. Enthusiasm comes from on theos. On means in. If you've ever heard of theology, theos means God. The word enthusiasm, it literally means in God, or it means to be filled with God. True spiritual enthusiasm isn't something you work up. It's not a product of your environment. It's a posture of your heart and your time with God. It's born in the presence of God by the power of God. In fact, I love what the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 57 and 58. He said this, Paul said, but thank God, somebody say thank God. Thank God. Type it in the chat. He said, but thank God that he gives us victory over sin and death. I'm going to say that again because I kind of feel there are some people a little more enthusiastic that haven't yet expressed their enthusiasm. He said, but thank God. He gives us victory over sin and death through our Lord Jesus Christ. Because of what our God has given us, he said, my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work, and I love this, he said, whatever you do, always work enthusiastically for the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. Work enthusiastically for the Lord, and whatever you do is never ever done in vain. Here's what I love about this thought. It's not what you do that makes it meaningful, it's who you do it for. It's not the thing that makes the action meaningful, but it's the intent of the heart of who you're serving. It's not what you do that makes it meaningful, but it's who you do it for. For example, many of you probably turn the lights off around your house before you go to bed. If you don't do that, helpful little tip. You can save money by turning the lights off around your house before you go to the bed. I never really liked doing that until Amy said she loves when I do it. So when I turn the lights off around the house, I do it with enthusiasm and style and flair. Flip, switch, slide. I go all over the house, and it's not what I'm doing that's meaningful, but who I'm doing it for. And when I walk back into the room, I say to Amy, guess what your husband has been out doing? I've bravely been attacking the elements and turning off the lights, and I did it just for you. The lights are out. Do you feel the enthusiasm in the room? It's not what you do, but it's who you do it for. When you're doing whatever you do, and you're doing it for the Lord, it can transform something mundane into something meaningful. The best example of this, and I would give anything if I could show you a clip of this lady, but I saw the most amazing, passionate, enthusiastic woman that perhaps I've seen in my life working at a kiosk in an airport. Now, on the top of my list of exciting jobs, you would not find working at a kiosk in an airport. I mean, she's selling cigarettes and, pops, drinks, and gum and such. This lady, when people would walk by, she was singing, and not just singing, but like angelic singing, like an angel took over her body, and she was singing at people walking by, and there was a buzz, and people were they weren't even laughing, they were like enjoying it. I just stood there and I watched, and I thought, can I hire her? Can I interview her? And the place was electrically charged, which is this, she didn't let the boring environment of the airport dictate her mood, but she let what was in her dictate the environment around her. And so I just had to ask her. I said, can I ask you a question? She said, ask me anything? I'm like, no. Just can you not sing? Can you just talk? I said, I'm not sure. And I said, tell me why you're doing this. And she said, oh, people are so bored. And she went, they're just traveling so hard. I want to bring joy into life. So I said, no. I know that's kind of why, but give me the deeper why. And she said, you want to know why? I said, I want to know why. She said, you want to know why? I said, tell me why. She said, I think you know why. I said, I think I know why too, but I want to hear you say it. Why? She said, well, he has a name. And then together we just sang it. His name is Jesus. And then we hugged right there in the airport, total stranger. Who does that? Someone who's been transformed, who's been changed. But thanks be to God, who delivers us from sin and death. Whatever you do it enthusiastically for the Lord. And whatever you do will not be done in vain, on theos, in God. You can have spiritual enthusiasm, and you can lose it. I want to show you a person from the Old Testament. If you've been around the church, you would know David. David was a shepherd boy who became a king. He was a kid who became a king. As a king, he was filled with theos. As a king, somewhere along the way, he lost it. If you know the story about David and Goliath, the Philistine army was at war with the Israelite army, and they would often pick a representative warrior to do battle and declare the winner based on those two. And the Philistines had this massive giant named Goliath. Israelites had nobody that would stand up to this giant. And this little kid, little shepherd boy who was bringing snacks to his brother, looked on with enthusiasm. And I want you to watch his spiritual enthusiasm and confidence in God when he said, Scripture says, to the Philistine, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defiled. This day, the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike down and cut off your head this very day. I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know there is a God in Israel, on theos. This is not, there's no human confidence in this. This is raw, unparalleled spiritual enthusiasm born out of time with God. The question is, where did he get that? Where did his spiritual enthusiasm come from when there was a whole army of other warriors who didn't have what he had? Where did he get that ongoing, interdwelling spiritual enthusiasm? Where do you get it if you're a lady singing at a kiosk or a kid walking into the battle of your life? 3 thoughts about where David's enthusiasm came from. First of all, he trusted God daily. He walked with God daily. And he worshiped God daily. And the key word is daily. He trusted God daily. He walked with God daily. He worshiped God daily. He trusted him. How could he fight a giant? Because in previous days, he trusted God when he was taking care of the sheep and a bear would attack. And God gave him the strength to defeat the bear. And since he trusted God the day before for that battle, he could trust God in this day for the battle ahead. He trusted him daily. He enjoyed his presence. He walked with God daily. He was the one who said this, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I lack nothing at all. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. He leads me. He guides me. He comforts me. He is always with me. He guides me along the right path, even for his name's sake. Even in the valley, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. He trusted God daily. He walked with God daily. He worshiped God daily. When the Ark of the Covenant came into his hometown, where the presence of God dwelt, he went out not fully, completely dressed and went into a massive worship party, so much so that his wife was embarrassed and made fun of him, but he just couldn't contain himself. It wasn't a click on a computer screen once a week to watch a sermon. It wasn't even a drive across town to sit in a church service and sing some songs and listen once a week. It was a daily abiding in the presence of God that gave him this enthusiasm. He was in God. There are two seasons in his life. One, he had it, and one, he lost it. If you fast forward to a time when he was a king, there was another famous story, and the text starts off, it says, in a time when kings go off to war, in springtime, when he should have been at battle, David actually stayed at home. And when he wasn't where he was supposed to be, he climbed up onto a roof and he saw something he wasn't supposed to see, a woman taking a shower. And when he wasn't where he was supposed to be, wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, he saw something he wasn't supposed to see, he did something he should have never done, and it cost a lot of people something they should have never, ever lost. And it all started when he stopped spending time with God daily. I want to show you the contrast, and I've put it into bullet points just so you can see it. I want to show you the difference. As a kid, with enthusiasm, David ran into the battle to serve his God. Then later, as a king, with apathy, David walked on the roof to serve his comfort. How did a man who had so much spiritual enthusiasm as a kid lose it as a king? The answer is, he took his eyes off his calling and he put it on his comfort. My question to you today is this: which one best represents you? Which one best represents you? Are you full of antheos, enthusiasm for the things of God? Whatever you do, it's not meaningless because it's not about the what, it's all about the who. Or do you find yourself more spiritually comfortable, more complacent? Which one best represents you? Are you charging into spiritual battle, knowing that the Lord your God is with you? He'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. You've got a divine calling today, daily, every day. Or have you drifted into more spiritual complacency?